Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studio in Sandy Springs, Georgia. It's time for Chamber Spotlight, brought to you by Corp Care, your employee assistance program partner, caring for them because we care about you. For more information, go to corpcareeap.com. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chamber Spotlight podcast, brought to you by Corp Care, an employee assistance program company. I'm your host, Lola Okanola, and today we have two special guests, Lois Rusco, the executive director at TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation Center, and John Jackson, the owner of Christian Brothers Automotive here in Sandy Springs. We'll be discussing their organizations, what makes them unique, who should be their customer or who needs them, and we'll be exploring any potential synergies between the two businesses. Welcome, Lois and John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Lois, we're going to start with you. Please tell us about Turning Point Breast Cancer Rehabilitation Center. What makes you unique? I've heard bits and pieces here and there, but tell our guests today and
I'd love to.
Our listeners.
Absolutely. We are a 501c3 charitable organization, and we provide rehabilitative services to breast cancer survivors along their journey. We promote and provide evidence-based services. And so we have doctors of physical therapy on staff who are specially trained in oncology physical therapy and helping breast cancer patients to move their arms, help them with lymphedema, help them with cording issues, things like that. But really here to help them just improve their overall quality of life and improve their breast cancer journey for a better result. In addition to physical therapy, we also provide one-on-one counseling and group support, and that's also virtual as well as in person. We do nutritional counseling. We also do specialty oncology exercise and massage therapy. So it's really a holistic approach to our care so that we can help that person get back to where they were or even better than they were before they were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow. That sounds really thoughtful and impactful. Like, how did this come about? Like, was someone, maybe the founder, did they have a family member or something? Like, how did you think of this?
Yes, what happened was our founder, who's Jill Bigley, she is a 2-time breast cancer survivor and a physical therapist. She founded our organization 20 years ago because on her breast cancer journey, she could not find the care that she needed to be able to get back to raising her arms to even get a plate off a shelf or, just everyday activities or even cooking or gardening. And she just found that there was a huge void in that area. So she developed Turning Point to address those needs. She started in a one-room location in Dahlonega, and she and another woman started the organization with physical therapy and massage therapy, and it's grown ever since over the last 20 years that we are providing all these extra services to help them through their journey.
So you said you've grown. Are you still based in Dahlonega, or I'm assuming you're now maybe closer to Sandy Springs, or who do you serve?
We are actually in Sandy Springs. We have a clinic here in Sandy Springs, just off of Northridge and Highway 9.
Okay.
And we recently opened a satellite clinic in Atlanta. That opened last year around end of August. And that has been put in place to address the underserved needs of the Black and LGBTQ communities in downtown and South Atlanta. And we're just really excited to have that location open. And all the patients that we're seeing there are really incremental to what the patients that we see in Sandy Springs. So we've had a lot of growth even within the last 9 months.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting to hear. So, I'm curious, and I'm sure our listeners are too. You said the numbers are incremental. So are things getting worse or better?
Well, no, I guess you could look at it either way, but I say they're getting better because people are getting diagnosed with breast cancer much earlier. Okay. Stage 1, stage 0, because of all the breakthroughs that have been made in research and diagnostic testing. So we are seeing more patients earlier, which is going to bring a better outcome longer term if we see them earlier in their diagnosis. So yes, we're seeing the growth, and yes, there's more people being diagnosed, but it's good because it's earlier. And
Okay.
they're catching it earlier. So the outcomes are much better longer term.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
One of the many benefits of being a chamber member is, first of all, being able to be on this podcast, and then also getting free ads in our newsletter. And I know that Turning Point always has something going on. I have noticed that every month. So do you want to share some of those things, some of the events that you have, why you do them? It sounds like it's a lot of fundraising, but it also sounds like really, fun events as well.
Yes, we do have a number of events throughout the year. And yes, they're all very fun. I think they are anyway. but we kick the year off with a gala in March. And that's our largest fundraising event of the year. We usually have 350 to 400 attendees. And the money there goes towards our specific programs, exercise, physical therapy, massage, those types of things, as well as our operational support. And then we follow that up with a golf event in June, which we just finished, which was very successful this year. It was our second year. And that tournament benefited our Georgia Outreach program, which goes to rural Georgia. Many people in rural Georgia don't have great access to quality cancer care, and it could take them a long drive. They may not be able to afford to get to our clinics. So we have an outreach program to provide financial assistance as well as virtual appointments, or we can provide transportation assistance to get them to our clinics. So that golf event supported that initiative. And then we also have a pickleball event for the first time this year. It's coming up in September. So we do appreciate being able to advertise those through the chamber. So you'll be seeing that one too. But that's going to be September 21st, which is a Saturday. And then we finish out the year with a final golf event that we partner with Toys for Tots. And it's actually in December. So the weather, you never know what you're going to get, but we always have a blast. And that's a really great event. The pickleball and the golf event in December, we raise money to keep our operations open and to also fund our Atlanta clinic. So lots of fun times.
Yeah, lots of fun events, but for an amazing cause too.
Yes, very much so. Yep. To help these breast cancer patients it's really rewarding. And to see them improve as they go through their treatments and therapies is just amazing.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing, Lois.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you
Sure.
very much. Now we're going to move to John, and we'll come back to you again, Lois. John, thank you again for coming. And finally, we're getting to do this. I know you've been wanting to be a guest, and I'm so happy that you can finally make this one. Tell us about Christian Brothers Automotive Sandy Springs and what sets you apart. I mean, I don't want to draw conclusions from the name, but I have a little idea, but I'm going to let you tell us.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. It's a privilege to be able to have this opportunity. So thanks for having me. But I think the brand distinctive, we're a 40-year-old, a little over 40-year-old nationwide brand, about 300 locations nationwide. We're a premium aftermarket auto repair service. So I think the thing that when people always ask me, okay, there's repair services everywhere, what makes you guys different? The brand distinctive is, you've already identified a little bit, that it is a Christian brand. So we base it upon treat your neighbor like yourself. And I tell everybody that works in our team, whoever walks that door, it's my mother, brother, sister, father, we take care of their car like it was a family member. And that's a little bit unique in our industry. I think most people who walk into a car place feel like I'm about to get screwed.
Yeah.
And so their defenses are up and all of that. And we work hard every day to deal with people with honesty, transparency, and integrity. And I think that's reflected now. We've got a 4.7 on Google with over 1,000 reviews. If you go through and look at that, most of those comments are about how they're treated, the transparency, the honesty that we deal with people when they walk through the front door. So we try to build relationships with people, not just fix their cars. And by doing that, build a relationship of trust that the perfect partner for us is somebody who truly wants to take care of their car. And we become a partner with them in that of not over prescribing repairs or things like that they don't need, but providing for them good maintenance, good care for their cars. We're all holding on to our cars a little bit longer, it seems, these days with the pricing of cars. And so you want that car
I
to
know.
last. You want that car to last. And so that's what we're trying to do, is help people as economically as possible to extend the life of their car, make sure that car is safe for them and their family as they're driving in it. So that would be the huge brand distinction for us, is that we really do try to treat people the right way, treat them fairly, and do this industry in an honest and straightforward way.
That is so refreshing to hear. I mean, the first time you told me about it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. In Atlanta, you cannot not have a car. I mean, right? So, I mean, your car and with the pricing of cars, as you said, I mean, it's this expensive machinery. It's an asset that it has to run and you have to fix it if it breaks down. It's just nice to know that there is a company out there that's really looking out for you. Are there any particular cars that you service, or do you service all cars?
We service everything except we don't do the EVs yet, the Teslas and things like that. We do work on the hybrids, but we don't do the full EV components yet. That's a whole nother category that we have some brands out in Colorado that are test marketing this, but so far we're working on the conventional cars.
Well, I mean, the EV discussion is probably another podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast for sure.
Because I'm reading and seeing that a lot of car manufacturers are kind of dialing back on their EV production.
Yeah, I won't even dive into it. Let's schedule another call. And
oh, wow.
All those reasons on another call.
Yeah. Well, tell us exactly where you're located and just maybe a few tips, for car owners. Like what are the things that they should pay attention to? Some people are really good with maintaining their vehicles and some people are really bad. Like they wait for the check engine light to come on. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Right. So like, what are those give us some quick things that people need to do and know when to call you?
Okay. Well, first of all, location, we're on the north side of Sandy Springs. We're about a mile south of the Chattahoochee, where it goes into Roswell. So we're at the northern end of Sandy Springs, up near the North Range exit that Lois referenced. So we're not far from each other.
Awesome.
And secondly, I think the main tip is change your oil. You'd be amazed how many people just kind of ignore that every 1,000 miles. It's not that expensive, but that is the lifeblood of your vehicle. And then the other thing is, it's all about your priority and your position on your vehicle. But understand these are machines and that they run and there's multiple fluids that go through those engines and components, and those things wear out over time. And if you just drive them until it breaks, it's probably going to be a more expensive repair. If you maintain it like you would your home, we look at this as like, for many people, this is probably the second most expensive investment you make in life. You've got a home and then you go to your car. So it's something that we feel like you would want to take really good care of. And that's where we can partner as the experts. The guys out back are able to step in. And we always, when you come in and do an oil change with us, we'll give you a courtesy inspection and tell you about a life of all those fluids. We'll check your filters for your brakes, your wipers, all those things. They're just kind of nuisance maintenance issues that people don't really address until they break. We can tell you about where they are in the lifespan of those issues. So that would probably be one of the bigger things, to just kind of stay aware and maintain slowly along as you go, instead of waiting for the massive breakdown that then you go, oh my gosh, it's going to cost this much money to repair my car. Yes, it's expensive to do that. So it's cheaper actually to maintain it than it is to do the big repair.
Great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. So now I want to talk about first of all, I see that given, your respective businesses, I can already point out some similarities, and you might not see it, but everybody has a car. I'm going to assume everybody in Atlanta has a car. Everyone on this call has a car. Most of our listeners do. And then unfortunately, everyone knows someone that's dealing with or that has dealt with breast cancer. You are both very passionate about doing things the right way and caring for people. Do you see any way that you could potentially work together? I mean, being that you're close by, Lois and them need TurningPoint needs some, funding, and you are all about good causes. Is there any way that you could work together potentially? And sometimes, on these calls, there really isn't any real synergy, but sometimes we find synergy in places that we didn't even expect. Maybe it's some sort of drive that you help promote, John, or something that TurningPoint does with Christian brothers. No pressure, but do you see anything?
I actually do.
Okay.
I do. I pass by your building every day on the way to the clinic.
Oh, wow.
So
Why haven't you stopped, Lois?
Because my car just now has 3,500 miles on it. So I will come in and get an oil change.
Okay.
I was going to say she's waiting for the check engine light to come on.
No, I actually don't do that. But anyway, I see some synergies, honestly. I'm a faith-based individual. And the reason I'm here at TurningPoint, I believe, is because I was led here. I was always in an entrepreneur or consumer packaged goods. And so I just thought it was interesting when you were the one on the call this morning. I'm like, okay,
interesting.
Here it is again. Somehow we're being brought together. But I think there's a synergy just because of how you want to care for your customers. We want to do and provide the best patient experience. And I think there's a huge synergy there. Just how you treat people and how you want to work with others is really how we want to do that as well. So I see that as a synergy. And of course, we can always use funding. One of the things that we're looking at now is getting a little more creative with how we fund and doing more corporate partnerships. And we're just kind of kicking this off. But we're looking for people to be a transportation partner, for example. We pay for folks to get here. Although many people have a car, we do have a lot of patients in Atlanta that don't, and or they're not able to drive. So we provide transportation assistance through Lyft or MARTA to get them to our facility and to get them back home. So that could be a way that we could partner. I don't know. That was just one of my thoughts, but I just think from what you explained with your organization, I really think that we kind of have the same mindset and want to lead our organizations in the same manner.
Absolutely. First of all, I love that because I agree. Not every organization out there is committed to excellence.
Right.
So it's really kind of a bright shining star when you're finding other people that are really making that attempt day after day.
Yeah.
So I love that part of it. But I think the faith component drives who we are as well. We as a brand, and I don't have a date for you yet, Lola, but in November, our brand nationwide does what we call a National Day of Service. And we reach out to organizations like TurningPoint, like churches, like other area ministries that have qualified people who are kind of at risk. And my guys come in and volunteer their day. My vendors donate parts, and we do free service on cars for women, single moms, people who are at risk in the community.
That's amazing.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
It's an annual event once a year, and I'll get you the date when we lock on it in November. Another thing we do, we've actually, I'm going to say this very carefully because one of our owners said it on the news recently, and everybody started calling, "Where are the free cars?" We don't have a ton of free cars, but we do frequently. People will donate a good used vehicle. It's got some mileage on it. It needs some repair and things like that. They're moving on to a newer vehicle, but it's not a junkyard car either. And we will invest from our foundation in the repairs of that vehicle. And we have in the last year given away 2 free cars to moms who, and this is one of the more moving stories for me. A church down in Atlanta was rescuing a woman that had been sex trafficked. And she was trying to get out of that. She had a couple of small kids and she got a job. She's getting her life together and her engine blew up. And these guys called me and said, can you help? And I said, I don't have anything on my lot. Let me check. So I sent an email. There's 17 of us in Atlanta to the other owners around town. And one of the guys said, you're not going to believe this. We just finished working on a car. The lady we're going to give to, circumstances changed. She doesn't need it. Within 24 hours, we handed that woman a key to a brand new car, not a brand new, but for her, a new car that she was able to continue with her job, take care of her kids, and keep getting her footing in life where it needs to be. So it's fun for us to be able to we don't want to be a garage in the community. We want to be a light in the community. So it's not just fixing cars with people. It's looking for opportunities. Our brand distinctive is called the Nice Difference, that we try to find ways to not just fix your car, but help you. And as you come across our path, that there's ways that we can be of assistance. We try to go to the extra mile to help people that way.
That's wonderful.
I'm blown away. That is amazing.
It's amazing what you're doing. That's great. I love it.
So I'm going to hear from Lois in November. She's talking about a couple of ladies for me that need some free service on their car. So
I'm sure that we might have some of those that would really, really appreciate that. And, we can always use volunteers. We have all these events that we do. We're always looking for volunteers. So there could be some synergies there as well. But I would gladly tell people about your service. And if there is an opportunity, if we hear about it, we could maybe refer to you and just see what could happen there.
Awesome.
Yeah. John, please, I would love for you to share that information with me. I would love to put it out there if that's okay with you. So we can partner with you, help you in any kind of way. That's really amazing.
Like I said, we don't have a date yet. We normally always do it late fall, early
okay,
something like that. So I will definitely be in touch with you about it.
Yeah. See, look at that. We always think there are no synergies and then we find it.
Breast cancer recovery in garages. Who would think?
Yeah, I know.
Who would think? Who would think?
One of the other things we may be able to work on as well is we need awareness. We need people to know that we're here. We've been here for 20 years. And the first thing people say is, I've never heard of you. So if there's a way that we could just get our information to your employees that might benefit in this area, because we do treat in Georgia, but we also have that virtual program and we're licensed in Tennessee, North and South Carolina as well. If you have locations in those areas, it might be beneficial for the folks within your organization. Either they might have it or may have a family member that could benefit. So if there's something there just to get the word out to folks, that would be great too.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, is there anything else? I mean, I want you to take this opportunity to give out your contact details, your address, so people that are listening know exactly where you are and how to get more information just before we wrap up. Lois, do you want to?
Sure, I will. Yeah, we're our Sandy Springs clinic is located at 8010 Roswell Road, and we're in Suite 120, and that's Atlanta. And then my email address, if people want to contact me for any more information, it's LRUSCO@myturningpoint.org. And then our clinic phone number is 770-360-9271. And we're open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6:30.
Awesome. John?
Okay. We are at 8630 Roswell Road, right down the road. I did not realize this. And my email is johnjohn.jackson@cbauto.net. You can reach us at the office here at 770-992-0906. And I think was that it? We're just giving info.
Are you open every day?
Great question. We're open from 7 to 6, Monday to Friday. We are not open on Saturday or Sunday. We believe in work-life balance for our team.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised, John. I'm not surprised. Wow, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your incredible work. And I mean that, like incredible work. Thank you. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Chamber Spotlight podcast brought to you by Court Care. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.